You know, that reaction in ANZ, is that kind of expected given maybe some management of expectations plus, I guess, the low returning nature of that business?
Well, I think, Heidi, as we've seen kind of since this deal was agreed last year, you know, it's been a long and protracted, drawn-out deal, and even just a couple of weeks ago we had the extension that brought this into August, so there was a feeling around that this might not get done, and the competition issues here of course have been very well flagged. This was ANZ buying a retail banking business in Queensland, a very fast growing population, an area where they saw tremendous amounts of growth going forward. So it was clear what the strategy is here, and that remains quite clear. The real issue for the Competition Commission here is that it shrinks an already oligopolistic style banking system that relies on home loans primarily in Australia, and it shrinks that market even further, and that's the key issue here. So what they're saying is, as we bring competition down, as it gets swallowed up by another of the bigger players, there were a few things here at issue, and those kind of things have been well telegraphed now for many, many months. So I think this decision today really just kind of, it puts the official reaction from the regulator on the table here. Everybody knows the state of the deal now, but it doesn't permanently mean this deal is off the table. It might have to go through another few hurdles, but there's certainly plenty of people in the market that still expect it to get done.
And why is that? And I guess I'm wondering too, if there've been so much stress and strain in the housing market, you know, people with mortgages, rates going up, all that kind of thing, to an extent that maybe complicated this a bit. And as that part of the equation sort of settles out, maybe we're closer to the end of the hikes, right? That kind of opens the door again.
I think it's a great point, Kathleen, kind of understanding where we are in this cycle. If you kind of believe we're at this kind of optimal peak rates environment, not just in Australia, but globally, it kind of, there may be a period where the pressure comes off here. As you alluded to, competition has been incredibly fierce now in the mortgage market for many, many months, really since the RBA here began in earnest its increasing interest rates more than 12 months ago. And what you've seen amongst the big players is that market share has been very hard to come by. Some banks, such as Macquarie, have backed off a little bit from the Australian home loan market, while others have kind of entrenched and gone kind of deeper into this area that they rely on. So I think this deal and this decision today is partly reflective of the times we're seeing, a very, very competitive market already, and a regulator that's a little bit, doesn't really want to narrow down competition any further in a market that's already putting Australians under a lot of stress, of course. Lots of inflationary issues still around in the Australian economy, and one of those key drivers is that house prices have gone up so much, and those mortgage rates for your average Australian are so much higher than they were 12 months ago.
What happens going forward? Because as you mentioned in your story, they can now appeal to a different avenue. Does this open up the opportunity for another player? One of the independent experts actually backed the potential for Adelaide Bendigo Bank to, I guess, create a smaller competitor in that landscape.
Indeed, that possibility has kind of been on the table for some time now, and maybe the decision today does give that argument a little bit more credibility. And certainly our colleagues over at Bloomberg Intelligence are saying that this morning in their report on this. They're saying that comeback bid from Bendigo may well increase in likelihood on the back of this. But I think what you're going to see now, those next steps are, of course, going to the tribunal. ANZ and Suncorp this morning have both been very categorical about that is clearly what's going to happen. But we're also going to get more details on Monday from the ACCC about why they've arrived at this decision today. So what they've done today is really outline it, but there will be some more detail coming out in the next few days.